It's about to set a new standard in network marketing. We are at that pace right now, and there should be no question in your mind whether there's an opportunity available at ACN. The future is very bright. Everything is in place, folks. So how do you take advantage of all of this? How do you go from just beginning, as those of you that are brand new, to becoming a senior vice president in this company? And we've determined that it boils down to a few simple but very important truths that I want to cover with you today. And these truths are commitment, activity, and belief, or CAB. It's another CAB that I want you to remember. So let's first talk about belief. Belief in what? First of all, a belief in ACN. That it's a model that works and a model that can work for you. I mean, if you don't believe in ACN after your experience over the last 3 days, I mean, you just got to check your pulse. You got to ask yourself if you're really alive and well. See, believing in ACN now should be easier than ever. You're here. You've witnessed ACN for the last 3 days. We have more than 2 decades of success, a track record that is just incredible. Thousands of lives changed. So the belief in this company should be very easy for you. But more importantly than belief in the company, what about belief in yourself? Belief that you have what it takes to win and succeed at ACN. See, believing in yourself is where the real work comes into play. Why is it that we quit on ourselves long before we ever quit on our loved ones? You're not going to wake up tomorrow and have the belief in yourself that you need to succeed. It doesn't work that way. Having belief in yourself is a process. And I've broken it down into 3 steps for you to have belief in yourself, and here they are. Curious, convinced, and committed. Let's take a first look at the first step towards your personal belief, which is being curious. If you're new, your curiosity probably had something to do with getting you here this weekend. Curiosity is a very important thing. The powerful question of what if this really could work for me? See, curiosity is what creates an openness to the unfamiliar. It's what helps us approach uncertainty with a positive attitude. Curiosity is just the first step to having personal belief. The key is to not get stuck at curiosity, because curiosity will diminish over time. Our instincts to explore become tempered by our natural desires to conform. We lose sight of what really will drive us over time if we just stay in that curious state. So the next step to developing this true personal belief is going to go from curious to convinced. Now, to be truly convinced, your goals have to speak louder than your doubts. When you become convinced, you exude conviction. Here's the difference. When someone is curious about ACN, only curious, but not quite convinced yet, when they're asked about ACN, here's what they say. Well, I really don't know. I think I'm excited. It sounds interesting. I'm hoping that it works for me. But someone that's truly convinced will respond this way. I've done my research. There are thousands of success stories. I've been to Charlotte. I spent 3 days with these people. I've seen the system. There's a system in place that as long as I can plug in, I can win. I am going to do this. How many of you see the difference between just being curious and being convinced? Who would you rather follow? See, curiosity will get you started, but conviction is where things really start moving, where the big changes happen. How many of you feel like you've gone from curious to convinced over the last 3 days? Now, the key to moving to the third and final stage of personal belief is not to get caught up in just being convinced, because being convinced is worthless unless it is ultimately converted into commitment. See, being committed is the third and final stage of personal belief. 100% commitment is critical. It's also the most difficult to maintain. Here's the reason why. Every single one of you are going to face challenges at ACN. There's going to be so many disappointments that you are going to encounter. I promise you that there's going to be some days where you're going to feel like quitting. You may get to a point, you may just question yourselves of whether or not you have what it takes to win. And if you're not 100% committed, you will always take the path of least resistance and quit. If you want to do something significant, everyone, quitting cannot be an option. You can't be 99% committed and have anything work out. You try to be 99% married and see how that works out for you. You got to be 100%. And you must make a decision right here and right now that you're going to stay the course, stay in the game, keep on keeping on, no matter what. And the greatest definition of commitment that I've ever heard is this. When you continue to do the thing that you set out to do, long after the mood you set it in has left you. That's commitment. See, life is a contact sport, everyone. We're all going to take some hits along the way. See, you just got to tell yourself, I'm going to stand in the face of this adversity. I can lose everything, but I'm not going to lose my praise. We all would not be here right now if we had not overcome some things along the way. How many of you are overcomers in the room? Let me see a show of hands. You got to remember the victories. And you must commit to being here 1 year from now. See, 100% commitment, everyone, gives you a special kind of attitude. It gives you a special kind of mental toughness where you're non-negotiable and you have that winning edge and that posture that Debbie Davis talked about, and you become bulletproof. So you've committed. You've reached the final stage of belief, but that still doesn't mean you've arrived. See, people make commitments every day. They make commitments every day to their families, and they break them. They make commitments to their friends, and they break them. These are commitments that are far more important than ACN. How would you like to increase your odds through following through on your commitment? Wouldn't you like to do that? Here's what I thought. I thought of two things to help you to increase your odds to be 100% committed and following through with what you committed to do. Here's the first thing that I thought about, is you got to use great discernment as to who you associate with or listen to. See, here's the reality of what's about to happen to every single one of you in this room. ACN events make you feel like you can move mountains after you spend 3 days with. How many of you feel that way right now? Well, you just feel like you're indestructible. But I'm here to tell you, unless you are totally committed, unless you are totally sold out, the further from this event that you get, that feeling that you now have will slowly dissipate or maybe even disappear. See, it's easy to feel excited while you're here, but it's harder to maintain this level of excitement and belief when you get outside of this environment. But once you're home, that's when doubts set in. See, life's distractions are going to come your way. And the bigger the distractions become, the less significant these last 3 days are going to be for every single one of you. What's the biggest distraction that you're going to have when you get home? These are all the toxic people that are around you. Darren Hardy called them crabs. See, you have to expect these people to be around you. Who are these people? These are the doubters in your life. These are the dream stealers. These are the people that are around you. They may be some of the closest people that you have. How do you recognize them? They're totally non-supportive. They question why you're even doing ACN. They plant seeds of doubt. They try to fill your head with their limiting beliefs. See, every person or every organization that I know of that has done anything significant has had doubters or these dream stealers around them. Let me tell you, when we started ACN in 1993, there were 600 other long-distance companies that were in business when we said that we're going to start ACN and we're going to be in the long-distance business. 600. Do you have any idea how many people that were around us that told us that we were crazy? And you know what? They're probably right. But we didn't listen to them. We didn't listen to their opinions. We didn't buy into their beliefs. Thus, we did not buy into their lifestyle. So my advice to every single one of you is to tune out these toxic people at all costs. Quiet the negative voices that are around you. Your environment and your associations are critical to your success. Don't let anyone take away what this weekend has done for you. Is that a deal? So we got to use great discernment as to who you hang out with and who you listen to. And the second thing that I thought about so that you can remain committed to your commitment is that you must be in a constant state of personal growth for yourself and for this business. You must transform your mind. Why? Because your current level of thinking got you to be where you're at today. You are now doing the best you can according to the level of awareness that you have. You don't know what you don't know. See, because of personal development, I am nowhere near the person that I was 23 years ago. I have so much more awareness today. Personal growth played a huge role in our success. Personal growth will also play a huge role in your success. It will do exactly what it's done for us, for you. But here's the good news, is that we provide the right environment and associations for all of that personal growth and development to occur, so that you can rise above what you've always been doing. You really can be and do something special at ACN. I believe that you can have it all here. You can get wealthy here. How does that sound? You can have a lot of part-time people that are going to create residual incomes where some of their bills are going to get paid every single month. You can have a great professional life at ACN, but that doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice your personal life. That doesn't. You can have a great personal life. You can have a great spiritual life, and at the same time, you can build a business along the way. We're going to support you in every single one of those areas by being in this environment of ACN. That's why there are millions upon millions of dollars that we've spent on the Success on Demand portion of YBA to give you access to some of the best coaching, some of the best training, so that you can take your thinking and your belief system to a whole new level. That's why we do these international events. 4 times a year in North America, twice in Europe, once in Australia, once in Korea. Why? Because we want to provide the right environment for people to win. Because here's what we found out. That everything works from the inside out. Success starts from the inside. You don't attract what you want. You ultimately attract who you are. So if you want to attract better people, we must become better. We must become more. So you got to keep coming around. Keep plugging in. And sooner or later, we've seen it thousands of times, you will have your aha moment where the light bulb will get turned on and you're going to say, oh my gosh, I finally get it. I finally understand. And that's when everything, all the time frames start to condense and you start to doing some great significant things for yourselves and for your families. So you got to be willing to change and you must be willing to grow. See, there's a verse in the Bible, everyone, that says, faith without works is dead. And what I've just spoken to you about belief and commitment, listen, those two things will also be dead or useless unless you put legs on those things. You see, you got to bring a great work ethic to ACN. The dream is free, but the journey is not. See, if somebody told you that this is a get-rich-quick, pie-in-the-sky opportunity, I'm telling you, and I apologize to you, they've lied to you. There's a price to be paid, and you got to be willing to pay the price for as long as it takes until you win. All that you've seen over the last 3 days is disguised as hard work. See, we can give you everything it takes to win. We can give you an environment. We can give you the tools. We can train you. The only thing that we can't do for you is do it for you. You've got to do it. You can't become an SVP by osmosis, everyone. You have to do it for yourself. You got to be willing to go through enough numbers to build your volunteer army of people, to acquire customers, to create residual income, and identify leaders along the way. So you must be willing to talk to enough people for however long it takes to find people like all of us. How many of you are hungry to win? Let me see a show of hands. How many of you are willing to sacrifice and do whatever it takes to win for you and your family? You want more out of life. You're willing to do more. How do you find more people like us? Do you think they're out there? You got to become a professional sorter, everyone. But you also have to have a plan of attack, because this truly boils down to being a numbers business. You got to talk to a lot of people. And when you do, there's chances are you'll make a lot of money by doing that. So I want to get you started on that process of putting legs on your belief and legs on your commitment. And I want to talk to you about 3 windows of time right now that are critical for your success. Here's the first one. The next 72 hours. Why is the next 72 hours so important? Here's what we've found out over the last 23 years. That if you don't do anything more within the next 72 hours than you have been doing, these last 3 days for every single one of you will just be a great experience and nothing significant will happen. But what we've also found out is that the people that do something within the next 72 hours, they jumpstart their business, and somehow, some way, things really start to happen. And so I would just encourage you to take a look at your calendar over the next 72 hours. Make sure it's filled up for the week. Make sure that you have your PBR scheduled. Make sure that you figure out a way to jumpstart this business so you start creating some better habits than when you came here. That's the first window of time that I want you to be conscious of, is the next 72 hours. The next window of time is the balance of February that we have. We have 13 days to go before the end of the month. And here's my encouragement to every single one of you. Here's what I would do if I were you. No matter what position you're in, whether you're just beginning, you're sitting up there, you have no idea how this whole thing's going to work for you, or you're a senior vice president, it doesn't matter. What I would do if I were you for the next 13 days is I would either get qualified or re-qualify as an executive team trainer. I would go out and recruit a couple people. I would go out and get some personal customers. I would go and get some customers for the people that I recruited, get them qualified. So no matter what level you're at, the next 13 days, every single one of you in this room should become an executive team trainer, either initially or all over again, and that will jumpstart your business. That's a second window of time, is the next 13 days for the end of February. Here's a third window of time, everyone, is we have 124 days to go between today and the time that we're all going to be together in San Jose, California in June. It's 124 days. How many of you in this room would like to have 100 people in your team in San Jose? Let me see a show of hands. How about 200 people in your organization in San Jose? That may seem like a large number, but I'm telling you that it's not. Here's all you need to do. Let's talk about 200 people in San Jose. Would it be too difficult to find 10 people to bring 20 people each to San Jose, California. Would that be too difficult in the next 124 days? No, it's not difficult at all. If you do that, if you accomplish that, you'll have 200 people in your organization in San Jose feeling the exact same way that you feel right now. If that were the case, where do you think your businesses all could be in the summer of 2015? Where do you think your businesses could be by the fall this year, 2015? How many of you can see yourself becoming regional vice presidents in 2015? The only way to do it is to take advantage of these next 124 days, folks. Don't let one day go by where you don't have more people going to San Jose than you did the previous day. Is that a deal? Here's what we found. There's a direct correlation between how many people that you as an individual person or leader has at the international events to their production numbers and the success that they have over the next 30, 60, 90 days. We've tracked it for 21 years. So if this is how all of the big leaders and winners at ACN have built their business, shouldn't you do the same? How many of you are going to be in San Jose with us? Let's see a show of hands. So here we go. The hardest part has been done. So where do you go from here? How do you position yourself and your team ahead of the biggest transformation that ACN has ever experienced in our 23-year history? I'm telling you, the foundation has been laid. And you just need to ask yourselves right here and right now, will you build your house on the ACN foundation? What if we're right, everyone? What if we're right? And we really do become a multi-billion-dollar company. And the only way that we do that is to have enough of you build your multi-million-dollar companies within this company. What if we're right? And you're seeing the company right now when we're less than $1 billion. I just want to encourage every single one of you before you leave. Don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers. I promise you the next 5, 10, 15 years of ACN, the next phase of this company will be the most spectacular season that we've ever had. It will far exceed any of your expectations. See, never again after this weekend can you honestly tell someone you never had a chance. This is your chance to do something special, everyone. This is the vehicle you've been looking for. This is the time to do something big. It's time to start living your best life ever with ACN. And it's time to do it right now. Thank you for spending the weekend with us, everyone. God bless you. Travel safely home. We'll see all of you in San Jose, California.